In the grand halls of Buckingham Palace, where whispers of history echo through gilded corridors, a scandal of unprecedented proportions has erupted, shaking the foundations of the British monarchy. At the heart of this tempest is Queen Camilla, whose carefully curated image as the steadfast consort of King Charles III has been shattered by a shocking revelation from an unlikely source: her own son, Tom Parker Bowles. During a high-profile event to launch his new book, The Crown's Shadow, Tom inadvertently exposed a decades-long plot orchestrated by his mother to infiltrate the royal family, a scheme driven by ambition, deception, and a relentless pursuit of power. What followed was a cascade of betrayal, greed, and a dark prophecy that left both mother and son facing a bleak future. The event was meant to be a triumph for Tom Parker Bowles, a food critic and writer who had long hovered on the fringes of royal circles. His book, billed as a revealing exploration of the modern monarchy, promised insider insights drawn from his unique position as Camilla's son. Held at a prestigious London bookstore on a crisp April evening in 2025, the launch attracted journalists, royal enthusiasts, and even minor aristocrats eager for a glimpse into the House of Windsor. Tom, dressed impeccably in a tailored suit, stood before a packed room, his voice steady as he began to read from his manuscript. But as he delved into a chapter titled The Making of a Queen, Tom's words took an unexpected turn. He spoke of strategic alliances and calculated moves that had shaped Camilla's ascent from a country girl to queen consort. The audience leaned in, sensing something explosive. Then, in a moment that would reverberate across the globe, Tom recounted a conversation he claimed to have overheard in 2004, a year before Camilla's marriage to Charles. According to Tom, Camilla had confided in a close friend that her relationship with Charles was not merely a love story, but a long game to secure a position of untouchable influence within the monarchy. She said she'd been planning it since the 1970s, Tom revealed, his voice trembling. She knew Charles was her ticket to power, and she played him like a fiddle. Gasps filled the room. Reporters scrambled to live tweet the bombshell, and within minutes, the hashtag Camilla plot was trending worldwide. The accusation was staggering. Camilla, long portrayed as the loyal partner who endured public vilification to stand by Charles, had allegedly manipulated the future king for decades, weaving a web of deceit to infiltrate the royal family and cement her place at its apex. To understand the gravity of Tom's claims, one must revisit Camilla's journey. Born Camilla Shand in 1947, she grew up in a well-connected but not aristocratic family. Her introduction to Charles in 1970 at a polo match is well documented. Royal biographer Penny Junor notes that Camilla's charm and confidence captivated the young prince, who was smitten despite their differing backgrounds. However, senior royals, including Queen Elizabeth II, deemed Camilla unsuitable as a bride for the heir, citing her lack of noble lineage and her past. When Charles joined the Navy in 1971, Camilla married Andrew Parker Bowles, a dashing army officer, in 1973. Tom's book alleges that this marriage was a strategic move, not a romantic one. He claims Camilla maintained contact with Charles, knowing his emotional dependence on her would endure. By the late 1970s, as Charles's marriage to Diana Spencer loomed, Camilla positioned herself as his confidant, subtly undermining Diana while strengthening her own bond with the prince. The infamous Tampon-gate scandal of 1993, where a leaked phone call exposed Charles and Camilla's intimate relationship, was, according to Tom, a calculated risk Camilla took to force Charles's hand, ensuring their affair could no longer be hidden. Tom's most damning assertion is that Camilla orchestrated the public rehabilitation of her image post Diana's death in 1997. He claims she worked with PR strategists to leak selective stories to the press, painting herself as a devoted partner while deflecting blame onto others, including a young Prince Harry, whom she allegedly used as a sacrificial pawn to bolster her reputation. This aligns with Harry's own claims in Spare, where he describes Camilla as dangerous and accuses her of trading information with the media. Tom's revelation suggests Camilla's campaign was not just reactive, but a premeditated effort spanning decades. Why would Tom Parker Bowles, who has largely avoided the royal spotlight, choose to expose his mother in such a public and devastating manner? The answer, it seems, lies in a toxic blend of greed and resentment. Sources close to the family reveal that Tom, struggling to establish himself as a writer, saw the Crown's shadow as his ticket to financial independence. Publishers reportedly offered him a substantial advance, but with a catch: the book needed to be sensational. Faced with mounting debts and a desire to step out of his mother's shadow, Tom made a fateful decision to betray Camilla, believing the scandal would drive sales. But Tom's motives were not purely financial. Insiders suggest a deeper rift between mother and son. Camilla, known for her steely resolve, had reportedly grown distant from Tom in recent years, focusing her energies on her royal duties and her husband's health amid his cancer treatment. Tom, feeling sidelined, may have seen the book as a way to reclaim agency, even if it meant destroying his mother's legacy. He felt like he was always second to her ambitions, a source told The Independent. This was his revenge. As the fallout from Tom's revelation engulfed the royal family, Camilla's response was chilling. In a private conversation leaked to the press, she reportedly predicted a grim future for both herself and her son. "Charles's will won't save me," she allegedly said, hinting at fears that the king's estate, heavily influenced by Prince William, would leave her with little financial security. Camilla's concerns stem from William's reported unease with her role in his parents' marriage breakdown, a tension that has persisted despite their public unity. With Charles's health uncertain, Camilla faces the prospect of a diminished role as Queen Dowager, stripped of the power she spent decades accruing. For Tom, the consequences are equally dire. The initial surge in book sales was overshadowed by a backlash. Readers and critics slammed him for betraying his mother, branding him an opportunist with no moral compass. Social media platforms buzzed with condemnation, with one ex-post calling him a Judas who sold his family for a quick buck. Bookstores began cancelling orders, and Tom's reputation as a writer plummeted. His gamble had backfired spectacularly, leaving him ostracized by both the public and the royal circle he once inhabited. The broader implications of this scandal are profound. King Charles, already grappling with health challenges and a slimmed-down monarchy, now faces questions about his judgment and legacy. Palace aides have scrambled to contain the damage, issuing statements emphasizing Charles and Camilla's deep love and commitment. Protests outside Buckingham Palace, though small, have called for transparency about Camilla's influence, with some demanding her titles be revoked. Prince William and Princess Catherine, poised to inherit the throne, have remained silent. But sources suggest William is furious at the renewed scrutiny of his family's past. The scandal has also reignited debates about the monarchy's relevance, with Republican groups seizing on the drama to argue for abolition. "This is a family built on lies and ambition," one activist tweeted, garnering thousands of likes. As the dust settles, Camilla and Tom find themselves bound by a shared fate, a fall from grace with no clear path to redemption. Camilla, once vilified as the marriage wrecker and later celebrated as a dutiful queen, now faces the spectre of history, remembering her as a master manipulator. Tom, meanwhile, has traded his mother's secrets for fleeting fame, only to lose the respect of those he sought to impress.